Yo, Sonic Frontiers finally out. Finally played it a whole lot actually. It came out yesterday and I just been playing it all day. And now I just want to talk about it, give out my first impression and all that stuff. I'm gonna keep this video short and stuff. And yeah, just talk about what I like and don't like and stuff. And yeah, let's start. Anyways, first off, overall, the game is great. I like it. Having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of good stuff in this game. I'll start off with the gameplay. Like, Sonic in the open world just controls super nicely. Like it's literally the best he's ever felt in a 3D Sonic game. I think even more than the adventure titles, because I think those titles is what Sonic felt the best in 3D, especially Sonic Adventure 2, which is still my favorite. But who knows, maybe this game might top it, because I didn't actually finish the game yet. I'm on the last island and stuff, and there's 5 of them. But yeah, he feels like really good and stuff. His moves, obviously you can boost, but his boost is not as strong as the older boost games. But you can also you also have more control with the boost, so you can like turn really smooth 360 degrees, like really tight turns and stuff, which is really nice, and it feels great. Like, Sonic feels just super good to move around, which is really needed for an open world game like this, because you really need the good controls. It needs to be fun to just move around a character in an open world. So it's really nice that I actually nailed down Sonic's controls in this game, because it's what carries. It's what you're going to be doing for like 90%, 95% of the time, is just moving around as Sonic in these areas. So I'm super glad they nailed it down, and he feels great, and they need to keep this forever pretty much. Like, unless they're doing like a whole different gameplay style, which they shouldn't do for like not a long time. They need to stick with this and expand upon it, because they finally have something good here, and they can't throw it away again. They can't just ditch it for another gameplay style that may or may not work. So yeah, this is good. It's good so far. It's not perfect though, because there's some things that like that feels weird. So like moving around in the ground right now for Sonic feels great. He controls excellent what boosting or not boosting. Although not boosting, Sonic feels a bit too slow. But honestly, considering boosting is not that fast too, I think it's not a big deal. But you do like run out of boost. It's like a stamina gauge now, so you don't really get boosts from like rings or anything else. It kind of just refills when you're not boosting, but it refills pretty fast, so it's not like a huge issue. So you can pretty much reliably always be boosting most of the time, because you're not always going to be boosting too. So by the time you want to boost again, the boost meter will be charged. So it's pretty good. It's really balanced. It won't get in the way of it won't ruin the pace or anything when you run out of the boost. You always have boosts to go. But yeah, on the ground he feels great, but in the air though, the one thing I don't like is like how he feels in the air, because in the air he feels kind of loose now. Platforming certain stuff can feel off at times. It's not like super terrible like in past Sonic games, but like it doesn't, like his movement in the ground doesn't just really match his movement in the air, if that makes sense. Like when you're boosting and you jump, all the momentum is just gone. The only time you actually keep momentum when jumping is when you're on the rails, because when you jump from rails, your momentum is you keep your momentum, and it's really satisfying to jump from rails into wherever you want. But it's not the same when you're doing regular jumping. It's just all the speed just goes away, and you have to boost again. You don't keep your boost when you jump. And that's kind of the same when you leave in the air in any other way too. Like as soon as you leave the air, your boost is gone. You have to press the boost again, which is not a big deal, but it's kind of awkward sometimes to just press boost again. But yeah, his momentum in the air is just like, he just feels off. It just doesn't match like the greatness of how he feels on the ground. So there's that. But overall though, like I said, it doesn't control like super bad, but it's like it just doesn't match his like ground play style, if that makes sense. So, but everything else, like with the combat now, I'll talk about the combat. Yeah, the combat though is actually really fun. I thought it was gonna be a lot more button mashy, but it actually isn't. Like, it can be if you only focus on like on 1 or 2 moves and stuff, and just only use like the X button. I mean, I'm playing on Xbox, by the way, so the X button's like the basic attacks and stuff. But thankfully, like, he has a decent amount of moves to use and stuff, so which is actually needed because certain enemies you have to use different moves. And some moves are less effective than the other moves and stuff, depending on the enemy you're facing. So it is encouraged for you to try out Sonic's many different moves, like using long range attacks, using attacks that's more grounded, and using attacks that's more like in the air and stuff. Some enemies is required to, not really required, but like I said, it's encouraged. Like, it's better to use it and makes it more easier to defeat certain enemies and stuff. Like, if you want to beat certain enemies fast, you gotta use like the right moves and stuff, and be creative, be attentive, and dodge and stuff, because you can't just mash too. Like, they will attack you if you're just mashing and not dodging and stuff. Obviously, dying in this game is not really that hard, because it does still follow the video game element of Sonic only needing 1 ring to survive, and you can pretty much span this side loop in circles and spawn infinite amount of rings whenever you please and stuff. But I never really abuse it because I don't want it to be like too easy. But like, I only spam the infinite side loop with the rings is when I want to max out my ring count to get like the really fast version of the boost, like the infinite boost or whatever. Well, it's not infinite because you still run out and stuff, but like, once you reach your ring cap, you just go all movie Sonic and just go really fast, and it's like super fast. It feels so satisfying to run around the world with that extra speed boost and stuff. It's actually so cool. And Sonic still controls excellent with the speed boost too. He still feels the same, but he's just much faster. But yeah, combat is like really fun. It's much more deep than I thought it would be. Not like super deep. You're like, you just mash, you press different buttons to activate a special move, and each Sonic does that special move. But you can also cancel that move into another special move to keep your combo going, and you can just keep going and going until you just mess up or you get hit, or whenever you're too far away to continue the combo stuff. And it's super cool. Like, even when you do get your combo meter high enough, you go into this Phantom Rush mode and start dealing extra damage and dealing damage much faster and whatever. It's really nice. The open worlds though, really nice too. Lots of things to like explore. It's not as empty as I thought it would be. Basically, the gameplay loop, without like going too much detail, is so like, this is kind of tying into the story too, but like, obviously we gotta find the Chaos Emeralds and stuff. To find the Chaos Emeralds, well, not really find, but to unlock the Chaos Emeralds, because they're stuck in this vault thing or whatever, you need the gate keys. But to get the gate keys, you gotta beat the cyberspace levels, and it's 4 missions within them, so you can get 4 gate keys from each cyberspace. But to unlock the cyberspace, you gotta get portal gears, and to get those portal gears is to get tokens for your characters and defeat enemies and bosses. And that's pretty much where your gameplay loop comes. You explore the area, find tokens with these destructible items, these obstacle courses that contain tokens and stuff. Enemies can sometimes drop tokens, and then use those tokens to find Amy, Tails, or Knuckles, save them, and uncover more of themselves by giving them the tokens and stuff, which will unlock more challenges. Not really challenges, but like side story quests or whatever, which can get you portal gears and stuff. There's also these challenges that reveals more of the map and stuff, and they can also give you portal gears. The item, like any enemies can really drop portal gears and gate keys, so it's always good to fight some of these bosses and enemies to get some of these portal gears, and then you can use the portal gears to get to the cyberspace levels. And now the cyberspace levels is probably like the worst aspect of the game, because the cyberspace levels just feels really off. Like Sonic just controls differently in those cyberspace levels. Like the physics and everything is just different, and then he feels a lot worse. He's much slower and stiff, and I'm like, why does he not control the same as he does in the open world? Like, just put open world Sonic in the cyberspace. It doesn't make sense. And the cyberspace is more like the more traditional Sonic level gameplay that you're like used to, but it's the worst part itself. And it makes me think like, yeah, these guys just cannot make a boost game anymore. They need to just ditch it now. The people that made Generations and Colors and Unleashed, all those guys are gone. Whoever is doing the boost games now is just, they just don't understand it anymore. Or not at all. They just don't, because it's just not the same. It's more like Colors too, not Generations and Unleashed. So it's the Colors, Forces, level design, which is like not really good, and the physics is just off too. So yeah, I think they should just ditch the boost games now, which sucks because I do like the boost formula and stuff. I think the boost gameplay can work really good as like a bonus stage, so it would suck to see it go. But if they can't make it good anymore, then yeah, they need to just stop entirely and just focus on what they're actually good at, which is the open world. But yeah, cyberspace, it's confirmed obviously that they're only using the 4 themes, which is Green Hill, Chemical Plants, Sky Sanctuary, and that new city level, and the level layouts from like past Sonic games too. So like Skyrail from Sonic Adventure 2 looking like Green Hill and stuff. So they're only using those 4 themes, even though that they're using level designs from past Sonic games. So yeah, kind of sucks, but it's whatever. Because I only say it's whatever because it's literally just a small part of the game. There's not a lot of cyberspace levels. They only take like 2 or 3 minutes to deal with if you want to get all 4 gate keys. So it really does not take a lot of time, because most of the time you're going to be in the open world exploring, fighting enemies, collecting stuff, and progressing through the story and whatever. And then occasionally you're gonna run into a portal gear and play a cyberspace level that only lasts like a little bit. And I guess it's kind of a good thing that these cyberspace levels is short. Like if they were any longer, I think people would be complaining about them more, because having to deal with them any longer would be not so good. And they are optional, but like they do give you a lot of gate keys, so if you really want to like speed things up, it's best to just deal with the cyberspace levels and just get your gate keys right off the bat, instead of aimlessly looking around in the open world and hopefully find a gate key. Because they're out there, you can find gate keys in the open world. Some challenges and enemies drop them, and some hidden items can drop them, but they don't really tell you where they are. So your most reliable option is to just go through the cyberspace. Same with the enemies too. You can kind of just not deal with them too if you don't really like the combat, which is the one thing, which is a good thing about this game, is like you can really just kind of just do whatever you want at your own pace. Like if you don't feel like fighting for a bunch of enemies in one playthrough, then you don't. Just do the other shit. If you don't feel in one session you don't have to fight a bunch of enemies, you can just explore and just jump around and platform and stuff. You can do that. If you want to just fight everybody in one playthrough, you can do that too. Like you can literally just play this game at your own pace. Like it's not like Breath of the Wild levels of like freedom, but like it's right up there. I think obviously not as big, it's not a big in world as Breath of the Wild, but like, you know, it's still big enough where it actually feels like a big open world and stuff. And yeah, it's really good. I like it. And the story now, the story and its characters, they really improve in that too. Like that's the best thing about this Sonic game, is like they're really improving in all aspects of like the Sonic franchise. The gameplay is much better. The story and their characters is much better. The music too, well, the music has always been pretty good in the Sonic games, but lately they kind of have just been like not super great, but now it feels like they're actually doing good again with the music. and stuff. It's really good stuff. There's a lot of good music. Like cyberspace is like the only good parts is like this is the music itself. I like listening to the music when I get to the cyberspace levels. So yeah, the story, Sonic actually feels like Sonic and his friends actually feels like actual characters and stuff. They're not joking around 24/7. Every chance they get, they're not like throwing in a punchline or something, which is really good. Like these characters are actually having conversations, normal conversations that are important to the story, talking about what's happening or whatever, questioning things like the mysteries of this island and stuff, and not like, you know, being jokey with every scene. It's really good. Like there's even like some little sad moments too, and they actually like, you know, take it seriously and don't throw in a joke or whatever. And I'm like, wow, all it took was just to change the writers, huh? Like they finally got rid of the original the old writers for the past decade, and finally bring in an actual good writer that actually knows the Sonic franchise. Then suddenly everything's good, and Sega needs to realize, like, as soon as they finally got something good, and now they just need to keep doing it, like keep doing it for like ever now. Like Ian Flynn, like, guy knows his stuff about the Sonic. He knows how to write Sonic. He knows how to write Eggman, Tails, and Knuckles. He knows how to make characters that feel like actual characters. Like that's why everybody loves the comics, because they feel like actual representations of Sonic characters and stuff. And then now they finally bring him into to work on the mainline Sonic game, and then now everyone's praising the story. Well, yeah, because he actually knows how to write freaking Sonic characters. I don't know why it took him so long, because he's been writing comics for like years and stuff, and they had the old writers who barely knew Sonic writing for almost a whole decade. So like, the heck, man, why did it take him so long to finally realize, like, yo, these guys are just not it for Sonic? Bring in Ian Flynn and keep him. Make him get that paycheck. He deserved it. But yeah, he's really doing good stuff. The next thing they're doing good with now too is like they're like dealing with the Sonic lore better now. Like they're actually making it seem like Sonic's universe is an actual thing, if that makes sense. Like they're mentioning they're doing callbacks to past like games and stuff, like past like Sonic Adventure 2 callbacks, a lot of Sonic Adventure callbacks being with the theme of this game and its story. Going into like the origins of the Chaos Emeralds and stuff, and that one scene, if that first cutscene when you first see those, well, this is kind of going into spoilers, so like in case you don't want to hear any spoilers, you should probably name now, because I'm gonna start talking about more of the story now, because I think it's worth going in blind and stuff, especially if you follow the Sonic lore and all that stuff. So yeah, leave now if you don't want to hear none. And yeah, so that first cutscene where you first see those aliens and stuff, and they look like freaking Chaos. Like there's Chaos variants. Chaos has a whole species and stuff, so it's not just, he's just not like a unique entity or some shit. Like he actually has some sort of alien race in some far off distant planet and stuff. And I think we're gonna finally get answers as to why he was like the god of destruction, why he's like linked to the Master Emerald or something. And we're getting the origins of how where did the emeralds came from? How was Angel Island, like how did Angel Island came to be, and why is it all connected with this and stuff? So yeah, I think it's kind of wild how deep they're going into it. So I really am enjoying the story so far. I haven't finished it. I only made it to the last island. I haven't started it yet. So, and I'm guessing that's the last one, because that's all I've seen. There's only 5 islands. Well, if you count islands and stuff, because technically there's only 3 islands and stuff. So being Ares, Kronos, and Chaos. Kronos is being your, the one we've seen already, just natural grassy plains and whatever and stuff. Ares is your, desert level, and then Chaos is your more like mountain lava level. And then the 4th one, I forgot the name, it's like Uranus, I almost said our anus, but I swear that's what it said at first. But it's just an extension. But that fourth island is just an extension of Corona's island. And not only that, it's not really like a full island too. It's just like a thing where you have to like clear up like 6 towers, which is just a big, huge vertical obstacle course to go up each 6 towers and stuff, and then that's it. And then you're just in the 5th island, which the 5th island is just more of Corona's island. It looks literally the same, so it's not really different, I would just say. You're just in a different part of the islands. So it kind of sucks. There's only like 3 main islands and stuff, but you know, the longer the game, the better it is, anyways. But yeah, I think it would have been worth it if they actually made these last 2 islands look different at least. But oh well. I still have to see how they tie things up, because yeah, I'm not done the game yet, so I'm still trying to finish it today before I have to go back to work tomorrow. It's because I still work the full-time job and all that stuff. I was off yesterday and I'm off today, so I'm really trying to use my time to complete this game before, you know, I have to start working again, and then have left time to play and record and edit and all that stuff, which is what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I'm really loving how they're doing with the Sonic franchise. Like, they're grounding the worlds better. Like, they're even with the Tails Tube thing that they did a few months ago, where they actually confirmed that yeah, Sonic's world is just one world. There's no 2 worlds thing. So humans is in one side of the world, and all the animals are in the other side of the world and stuff. We're getting lore of the Chaos Emeralds, you know. Even in this game, they're even like doing like callbacks to past games, so like there's actual continuity within this franchise, like callbacks to Dark Gaia from Sonic Unleashed, Black Arms from Shadow the Hedgehog, even mentioning the Babylonians, which is like, what? I mean, I always felt like they were kind of canon, like they did exist in the Sonic's world, but they were just never mentioned in the mainline Sonic games. Because I always thought they still treated those, you know, Sonic Riders as like spin-offs, and they never really, you know, get mentioned in the main games. But mentioning Babylonians is like kind of huge. Like, are they gonna really? Oh, obviously they're just mentioning it just to mention it, you know, fan service and all that stuff. But still, it's the way they're doing it is like, you never know, they could show up in like the next Sonic game or whatever, and actually try to include them. Who knows? They even mentioned like Maria too, like at one point. It's mostly, there's this thing called Egg Memo where Eggman kind of just talks to himself with his own recording and whatever and stuff. So he mentions his cousin Maria, Black Arms, and the Babylonians, like I said earlier. But even like Sonic and the others, he even mentions like past levels, pinballs, and whatever. What else? He even mentions like he might even need Shadow's help and stuff, and Shadow's not even in the game. So he mentions Omega. Even Tikal gets mentioned, which makes sense because of the story of the game, mentioned, you know, the whole backstory of Chaos Emeralds and stuff. Because there's like these flashback scenes, kind of similar to the flashback scenes in Sonic Adventure. You know, with the Kinda tribe like trying to take power from the Master Emerald. It's kind of given similar vibes here too. Getting flashbacks of the ancient ones, of those chaos alien creatures trying to protect the world and escape from the world from an enemy that we don't even know yet. And from what I remember, that weird AI voice in Sonic's head that's been helping him throughout this whole adventure, from the last time I've heard it, it hasn't sounded pretty good. It's seeming like that AI is gonna betray us, and like we're gonna have to deal with it and stuff. And then now Sonic and Eggman has to work together, and then Sage, I didn't even mention Sage yet, holy shit. Because Sage is actually Eggman's creation. She's an AI that Eggman created and all that. So she's been working with Eggman the whole time, because Eggman's stuck in cyberspace and he trying to use her to get her out. because Eggman, of course, unlocked trying to unlock the secrets of the ancient technology or whatever, but then it backfired and he got stuck into cyberspace and all that, using Sage's AI to try to unlock it, but backfired. But Sage was able to protect him inside cyberspace and also deal with Sonic in the real world and stuff. And she's, you know, trying to bring all these enemies towards Sonic to stop him and all that, but obviously that's not gonna stop him and stuff. But she also questions why does he do the things he do, why does he never give up. She questions why he does that and what's it like to be like, have faith and, you know, have hope and all that stuff. And she's, even though she's an AI, she's showing like human emotions and stuff. She things doesn't compute in her data or research or whatever and stuff, and she's, you know, liking what she sees in Sonic and wants to feel that, wants to feel those feelings that Sonic is feeling, if that makes sense. So it's pretty interesting what they're going with there and stuff. I obviously I haven't finished the game yet, so they haven't really concluded yet in the last island, so we're about to see it finished. And yeah, that's about it. Actually, one more thing too is the characters too. Even Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, those guys are like really good too. Like I said earlier, they're like written really well, and they're actually kind of interesting, like certain things that we didn't like, especially with Tails, because Tails even starts asking Sonic like, oh, is he like a burden to him? He starts like getting down on himself, saying like how he's been useless and stuff, and he needs to like start acting up, all that. So, and he even mentions, like, he even name drops Infinite and says like how he fell apart after Infinite's attack. And I'm like, damn, they're really addressing the concerns that we hated for Tails in Sonic Forces. And it's like, yeah, them actually like addressing that is like actually really good. Like, holy shit. Like, I applaud them for doing that, because we really did not like how Tails was handled in that game. And the last decade he's been just nothing, just useless and whatever, and he's finally realizing like, yeah, he needs to start acting up on his own. And at one point he said like, yeah, he needs to be on his own for a bit. So I was wondering, like, are they gonna like make Tails like not be part of this, like not be part of the next main like Sonic game, whatever. I don't know, but we'll have to see what they go with that, because that's gonna be really interesting to not see Tails be beside Sonic in the next game or whatever. But we'll see how they handle it, because he said he wants to be alone for a long while too. So yeah, really interesting topic that they addressed, that I really did not see coming. So I'm really glad to see that and stuff. Even Amy and Knuckles' interactions are really nice. Sonic and Amy really like bond with each other, like just talking and stuff, you know, trying to solve the mysteries of the island. Same with Sonic and Knuckles. Their bantering just feels natural. It's not like cringy or forced, jokey or whatever. And them actually having conversations of the origins of the Age of Island and Master Emerald and all that stuff. So it's really cool to see them, like, you know, dive into topics we never really like seen before in a Sonic game. So it's really cool that they're going for this. And obviously thanks to even Flynn for writing them out, probably, because it could have been a lot worse if we had the old writers doing this type of game. So yeah, this is really good stuff they're doing with this game, and I can't wait to finish it and see how it all ends and stuff. And I'm hoping they have a proper finish with this and stuff, and don't make it feel rushed. Like, hopefully Sage has a proper ending. Hopefully there's a proper ending to this storyline with the ancient ones and whatever and stuff, and hopefully it can have a satisfying ending like it did, like Sonic Unleashed. Because I think the last Sonic game that had a satisfying ending was Sonic Unleashed. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think that's all I want to say now. I don't want to go into much into it now. I think you guys should just play the game. If you're still undecided, I say just buy the game and try it out yourself. You're not gonna know until you know, until you play yourself. Because I think it's good enough. I think it's good. I think it's worth. The cyberspace levels is nothing to worry about. It's not a big part of the game. You can literally most of the time you can avoid doing cyberspace levels, and even if you don't like it, it won't take long anyways to do it anyway. It's because it's short. So yeah, just do it, play it, get it. Then I'm gonna go finish it now.